Good morning, everyone. My name is Filippo Sitzia. I'm a regional solution architect EMEA for McAfee. And today I want to talk with you about innovation and how it can be used to simplify challenges that we see in the market actually today. Over the last, let's say, 28, 30 years, McAfee has built a rich and widespread global threat intelligence, something that we call Global Threat Intelligence, GTI. It's basically a huge network, and this foundation allows us today to constantly analyze and gather data on threats of millions of sensors across the globe. The timeline here in the slide shows a subset of prevalent malware families observed in our spam traps. We reference to COVID-19, okay, or the well-known coronavirus. It is important to understand that security vendors are not the only one investing in innovation today. We see how adversaries today are doing the same with innovative technologies, techniques, and overall strategies like the one around COVID-19. Think about techniques of artificial intelligence and machine learning in general, which, while having benefits in the field of cybersecurity, it also has the potential to be used by cyber criminals in order to hack into systems and sometimes steal some valuable data. Every single threat reported on this specific slide in the timeline here as something innovative that today put corporate at huge risk. When you are leader in the security market, customers trust you, and it is our responsibility to listen what the challenges are for them today, but also what might be tomorrow. Starting probably from the number of consoles. Think about the complexity having multiple vendors with multiple consoles. We can count 3, 4, 5 consoles with multiple logins just to complete a single task. Classic example that we see really today a lot is around the DLP, the data loss prevention classification. You have a number of configuration at the endpoint level, network level, web gateway, and also now CASB. Of course, when you run repetitive configurations, the human error is just a frequent case. In addition, the threat landscape is continuously changing, and the response time are inevitably slow. From the 2017, there was a report from Accenture saying that basically the mean time to recover from an insider was around 50 days, was 48, 50 days. And the mean time to recover from a ransomware attack was around 23 days. So you can imagine. A consequence of this is that corporates require more staff and expertise to drive the cybersecurity strategy. Try to make a little exercise with me and answer to the question, how many tools do you use if you need to provide today a report regarding the risk posture of your organization? I try to make the same exercise with a lab that basically clone a real environment of a customer. We could count, EPP, so the Endpoint Protection Platform solution, an EDR solution. We have threat intelligence platforms, the well-known TIP solutions, sandboxing, anti-spam, the web gateway, CM solution. For the firewall, we could count maybe a couple of vendors just for the intranet firewalling, but also another solution for the perimeter firewalling, IPS, DLP, and for DLP now you get a network DLP, you get a CASB, you get mobile protection. For mobile, you can have a solution for the protection, another solution for the management. In McAfee, we have a single console for security management called EPO, e-Police Orchestrator. And this is a technology really appreciated in the market because of its enterprise-ready features, adaptable to several types of organization, starting from SMB to huge corporates enterprise. And it's really well known also because it connects natively to all our McAfee products. But innovation doesn't mean only create something different. Innovation means to listen to your customers and build something close to their needs. That's why we had to adapt our corporate strategy and include the cloud transformation that is really pushing our customers to new cybersecurity architectures, completely different. So we upgraded ePolice Orchestrator now to the version 5.10, offering the technology under 3 different deployments: SaaS, AWS, so public cloud, but keeping also the on-premise layer solution. Specifically, the SaaS version has been named Envision EPO. So when you see in the marketing brochure or you are talking with your sales rep, be aware that when we talk about Envision EPO, we are talking about the Policy Orchestrator as a service in the cloud. It is important to highlight the specific deployment is a native cloud application. So from Envision EPO, you now have complete visibility of all your devices and absolutely their security posture, managing everything from a cloud service. Since we upgraded the version 5.10, we implemented also new features like a new dashboard named Protection Workspace that basically summarize the data in a graphically easy to read format. Okay. The interface and workflows has been redesigned completely to increase productivity and efficacy. It's one view with context from left to right as you make your choices. Okay, completely different basically from the old one. Instead of clicking through a task with separate pop-ups, which may cause confusion and sometimes mistakes. And we registered that feedback from our customers saying that there's a 50% less clicks to do common EPO tasks from referred to the previous interface. There is also a new approval workflow option requiring policy or tasks changing. Okay, so basically instead of one admin pushing out a task, we can now implement a flow of approval from different operators. If we focus on the EPP, so Endpoint Protection Platform space, putting on top of the stack the McAfee PO, like always, we have 2 technologies that can protect the endpoints today. I want to clarify names and capabilities of those starting from ENS, our, let's say, Endpoint Security flagship today. The version is current 10.7. This is a complete stack of endpoint protection with about 6 years of innovation. Has been basically the official replacement of the really well-known VC, Virus Scan Enterprise, and is compatible with multiple operative systems like Windows, Linux, and Mac, including some minor versions like Windows 10 Internet of Things edition, so the IoT edition. The other solution is the Envision Endpoint, an alternative endpoint protection technology with specific capabilities on top of Windows 10 operative systems. This is basically the result of a specific portion of our customers that want to extremely simplify their endpoint security strategy based on Microsoft Defender. I will talk more about this later with a specific slide, but Envision Endpoint and ENS are always provided in a bundle with every single McAfee security suite. Basically, you can buy today and decide tomorrow which configuration you like to be installed in your environment. Same story for ePolice Orchestrator. Every single endpoint suite includes the 3 versions of EPO, so public cloud AWS, SaaS, or the classic one on-premise. Now, I'd like to spend a few words related to the ENS technology. Basically, a platform that integrates several components into collaborative framework, let's say, collaborative framework, yes. Because if a malware is downloaded from a website and is opening a network connection, I'd like to see the module threat prevention, the module firewall, and the module web control exchanging information related to the event. Also, if you are talking about a new threat, I want the capabilities of machine learning and application containment, including in the adaptive threat protection, to provide support to the threat prevention module. Okay, that's why collaborative framework. How we came up with a similar architecture was really simple. We understood that standalone silos of softwares that were not actually effective against advanced threats. Also, the resources required were so high that it was sometimes a challenge for the customers. That's why a huge reason why we are pushing our customers to migrate from the old VirusScan Enterprise to ENS. Okay, there are so many improvements, and we invested a lot in innovation in the ENS platform. In the slide, the collaborative framework justify, what you see there are common components, but also resources groups at the foundation level on top of the McAfee agent, okay? And it's important to highlight that we really have one agent, okay? There is only one agent that sends and receives security and management communication messages to the McAfee ePolicy orchestrator. Every single module on top of the agent is basically a piece of software dependent on the common platform, okay? They are not standalone softwares. They don't have agent for every single feature. There is one agent, and on top of the agent, imagine to have modules for every single feature you see in the slide. As I said before, today ENS is in the version 10.7, and here you see some of the relevant features like rollback remediation, but also the story graph are really, let's say, a nice way to overview your, a possible threat in a timeline. Okay, some visualization where we invested a bit. Now you have the command line scanner integrated inside the ENS, so you can basically scripting your on-demand scan for specific use cases. You can track all the CPU usage as well, but also we implemented specific interfaces to the anti-malware scan interface with Microsoft for specific, fileless attacks protections. And there are some mechanisms to protect against, the bad usage of PowerShell as well. Let's move to the Envision endpoint. Okay, I can understand sometimes customers are making confusion when you see Envision endpoint. You think, okay, that's the whole landscape of the McAfee technologies dedicated to endpoint. No. So for the endpoint protection, we actually have two solutions. We said ENS and one called Envision endpoint. Why Envision endpoint? So we analyzed the Microsoft AV, the Microsoft Defender basically, and we built a stack of technologies that could cover relevant missing features and capabilities of the Microsoft Defender. For example, the rollback feature for remediation. Okay, or scanning potential malicious scripts, but overall machine learning. So we put it on top of Microsoft Defender machine learning. In McAfee, we have 250 plus, almost now they are getting 300 security researchers that contribute actively to machine learning and more in general, artificial intelligence in general. We don't, we don't work only on machine learning, we do artificial intelligence. And we decide to bring our experience to our Microsoft customers. One of the principal gaps we could observe was also the difficult for enterprises to manage Microsoft Defender on top of the rest of the security applications. That was really a challenge, and is still a challenge today. That's why Envision Endpoint is totally managed by McAfee PO, so McAfee Police Orchestrator. Doesn't matter if it's a service, so SaaS in the cloud, or on AWS or on premise. We can orchestrate Microsoft Defender from the Envision EPO and from the EPO in general. But important to highlight, we don't only bring the best technologies to our customers, we want as well give flexibility. We believe that flexibility is really important, because if the threat landscape is continuously changing and the security strategies as well are continuously changing, we want to give the flexibility to our customers to choose dynamically which solution suit them best. So they basically buy one bundle, one commercial bundle, and inside they're gonna get the old technologies for EPP protection. But EPP in general, are a good solution for endpoint protection, but sometimes when we talk about really advanced attacks, they don't have enough visibility and capabilities to understand if an unknown file is a threat or not. And that's why we need to gather continuously data from the endpoints and run deep investigations. Okay, so you can decide to do that manually, or of course you can use the classic EDR tools. But when we decide to review the EDR tool in our portfolio a couple of years ago, we collected and analyzed the feedback from the market, identifying some pain points. Probably the biggest challenge is probably the amount of data and the lack of skills within the security teams. So you can provide actually the tool, but if you don't have the skills to use the tool, you have a challenge. Okay, don't forget that Security Operations Center contains the processes, people, and the technologies that you need to find the right balance. You cannot just invest all your budget on a technology and after you don't have the skill to use it. But also another challenge that we could see was the number of alerts, and unfortunately also the number of false positives. That number was big in the EDR space in general, and it's still big today. So we totally reviewed the old McAfee Active Response product with a new release. The name is Envision EDR, another technology cloud native with the capabilities of the old McAfee Active Response, if you know already the product, plus innovative features including artificial intelligence engines and guided investigations. We also, you see in the screenshot here, we totally reviewed the graphic interface, staying fully integrated with EPO, and also we wanted to be AV independent. What does it mean? That means basically you can use the McAfee Envision EDR tool beside an endpoint protection platform solution that even not McAfee. Again, in line with the desire of flexibility that the customers are often looking for. Okay, so again, you can install the Envision EDR beside an antivirus solution that is not McAfee if you want, if you wish. Sometimes customers have some concerns related to the massive usage of the cloud, but even like overall, probably in this case, it is clear that the amount of data to be analyzed requires a solution full cloud that can balance the resources requested to the vendor side. And in our case, McAfee takes care of the data in our cloud infrastructure. The resources required to run processes typical of these technologies can be expensive in terms of hardware if you want to run it manually. And we don't want to sell you 50 or 100 servers just to run an artificial intelligence process, understand if a false positive is a false positive or not. Let's say from the endpoint, the data is continuously sent to our cloud, and we can store it for 30 days or 90 days, depending on the license. This way, we simplify the number of artifacts that the SOC analyst is facing during an investigation. Okay, so we leverage artificial intelligence to do that. Let's review the technical approach of McAfee ENVISION EDR. So the data is basically continuously gathered from the endpoint and sent to the cloud, where we can apply analytics, looking for, of course, suspicious behavior and generating alerts. Of course, we know that organizations can always access the data located in the cloud and locally in the endpoint for manual processes of threat hunting and investigation. The data is yours, so you can always access manually to run your custom manual investigations. If you get an alert, you can rapidly take an action. That's important, but often, the alerts require validation. And this is where dynamic investigation, we call it dynamic investigation guides. They can drive analysts through the deep side of the investigation, asking and answering questions related to the findings. For example, have you ever seen this process running in your environment? Okay, or do we have any kind of admin or hacking tools running in our environment? Then you will see every single answer related to the question. An additional aspect of the solution that really brings interesting innovation in the topic is the fact you actually can connect a CM solution to the EDR engine. So imagine you take your SIEM, you connect to the EDR engine. I'm not talking about only sending logs to the CM. Okay, that's an easy one that everyone is doing, but also the contrary. So CM this time is sending the data to the EDR technology in order to enrich the investigation data. So, you get more additional data that a typical CM can collect from different security devices in the environment. Okay, imagine, for example, you need to investigate of a possible threat that has been downloaded from somewhere, and you actually want to involve also the web gateway in the investigation. So the web gateway will send over the logs to the CM, but the CM can contribute to the EDR tool. So basically now the EDR tool is living at the same level of the CM, and not like years ago where the CM was on top of everything. At the moment, the CM solution supported for this last feature and for the release we have today are the McAfee ESM, Splunk, and the ArcSight. So let's leave the EDR topic. We still have 7-8 minutes, so I really want to present you the latest innovative technology we are going to release soon. But before, let me comment this slide. Okay, so imagine to report the life cycle of an attack over a timeline. We can divide the timeline into different sides. Things before you are hit by an attack, and things you are hit by, after you are hit by an attack. So actually split the timeline in two. So what you can say, basically, before you are hit, the point we define as a threat as really an associated risk based on different factors. Maybe the geolocalization, maybe the vertical where your business is living. So if you get attacked, protections in pre-execution and post-execution can stop the attack or just try to stop it. And after that specific moment, tools for detection and response, like the EDR we saw before, are required. Okay, so you can run your investigation. We can say that basically everything we do before the specific attack is related to be proactive, and everything coming after is related to being reactive. So doing an analysis here, we can say that threat intelligence feeds, but also threat intelligence platforms and vulnerability management systems, classic vulnerability management scans and so on, are great, and they are living, in the proactive side, but they basically don't see and don't do assessment of your risk, or maybe they just define risk against vulnerabilities. Okay, they don't know a lot about you. If you think about next generation antivirus, EPP systems, they do not have a footprint of sensors to see what is happening and actually assess the risk to the overall security posture of an organization. That we know that. And we can say that the requirements in order to impact all these problems must include the ability to assess both the potential threats and the risk. And of course, you must have sufficient footprint in sensors like as an EDR, but also, global telemetry and enough technology to actually do the assessment and make the changes. Now, we will be releasing soon MVision Inside. That's the name in line with an MVision strategy. This product contains 3 main components: comprehensive active intelligence from source across sensors of endpoints. We have our sensors, but also network and cloud sensors, not only endpoints. You get distinct threat analysis, but also on top of that, you have the artificial intelligence processes and human-machine teaming, where of course you don't do everything automatically. You team really with the artificial intelligence engines. But also you get proactive response and protect capabilities. Okay, totally in line with the McAfee strategy. Everything is, let's say, will be from a single console, and overall integrated with McAfee or third parties technologies. So basically, imagine to have a continuous feedback regarding the security posture of your environment, let's say a kind of score, exactly like you see here in the slide, that can tell you something about your situation today based on real intelligence that we gather from our sensors. And of course, when we talk about integrations, okay, so you can actually connect your tools that are not even McAfee. Okay, so we do the possibility to, you get the possibility to basically correct dedicating and integrating solution from other vendors, leveraging the open bus called open DXL, the data exchange layer. So please stay tuned because really soon the product will be released to the market, and it's something really exciting. Now, to close my talk, so what we saw today, MVision Insight, okay. So important, the MVision ePolice Orchestrator, so the same ePolice Orchestrator we know on-premise now as a service in the cloud, okay. Don't forget about the third option as a public cloud with AWS. We reviewed the EPP platforms that includes MVision Endpoint and ENS today at the version 10.7 and MVision EDR. Do not forget are the 2 technologies in line with the MVision strategy called MVision Cloud and MVision Mobile, okay? For every single interest or curiosity, please contact me at the McAfee booth, myself, but also my colleague even are there for every single, your question. Thanks.
Thank you, Filippo, for your interesting presentation.
No problem. Thank you.
I look have we a question from our audience. Just a moment. We don't have any questions, so
Perfect.
maybe we give the speech to other speaker.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.